All right, so what we're about to dive into today, this isn't some grand story about trying to build a new financial system or, overthrowing the corporate world. Nope. This all started with a really simple personal observation about how things actually work. And it began with a feeling that I bet is going to be pretty familiar to a lot of you.
I mean, that one sentence just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's that feeling you're constantly participating in the economy, buying things, doing things, but you don't actually own any piece of the underlying structure. It's this deep imbalance, and that feeling is what kicks off this whole journey we're on tonight.
So, this whole journey really started with a simple question. In every single transaction, where does the value go? Think of it like our economic system is just full of leaks, and all that value, it just seems to flow away from the one person who actually kicked the whole thing off. I mean, just think about it for a second. Every time you buy something, what's the first thing that happens? Yep, the store makes money. And then, of course, the brand that made the product, they make money too. Oh, and the advertiser who got you to look at it in the first place, they get a piece. You see the pattern? The money just keeps flowing out and away. And this really just lays it all out, doesn't it? Who actually captures the value? You've got the wholesaler, the retailer, the advertiser, the payment processor, even the data broker you never knew about. Literally everyone in the chain is capturing a piece of that value. Everyone, except for the one person whose participation made the whole thing possible. And that leads to this really uncomfortable realization. Every single transaction you make just vanishes into someone else's ledger. Your entire economic life is just scattered across who knows how many corporate databases, and you don't even hold the master copy. It's that feeling, that deep sense of imbalance, that's the exact birthplace of the idea for the brand currency system. Now, the solution here didn't come from some super complex financial theory. It actually came from something we all get, and, let's be honest, usually just throw away, the humble receipt. And believe it or not, this was the turning point for everything. So here's the big question. What if that little piece of paper, or, that email confirmation in your inbox, what if it didn't just disappear? What if it wasn't just trash or digital clutter? What if it could be the very foundation of your own personal, permanent ledger? Okay, so let's see how this actually builds out. The process itself is, it's incredibly simple. It all starts with just one purchase. You take one photo of the receipt, and then that photo is used to generate one hash. Now, a hash is basically just a unique, totally secure digital fingerprint of that transaction. It's a super quiet, simple act, but as you're about to see, it's structurally revolutionary. And right there, that is the big conceptual breakthrough. We're talking about taking the power of cryptographic hashing, the same tech that secures Bitcoin, and pointing it at something completely different. We're not hashing money here, we're hashing our participation. Now, this is so important because it clears up the biggest possible misunderstanding. With something like Bitcoin, hashing is all about securing money, right? Preventing people from spending the same digital dollar twice. But with BCS, we're using that exact same technology for something else, to secure a record of your participation, to simply prove, hey, I was here, I did this. So, and this is the crucial point, BCS is not a new currency. The best way to think about it is as an economic memory layer. It's a permanent, verifiable anchor. And look, it doesn't publish your shopping list to the world. All it does is confirm three super simple facts. A transaction happened, a human was part of it, and value moved from one place to another. That's it. Okay, so you might be sitting there thinking, all right, that's a kind of interesting idea, but why now? Why is this so important right now? Well, the answer comes down to three letters, AI, the crazy fast acceleration of artificial intelligence. I mean, look around. AI is already starting to take on these incredibly powerful roles in our economic lives. It's going to negotiate for us, shop for us, drive for us. It's even going to be allocating credit. Essentially, AI is poised to manage the entire machinery of our world. And that brings us to what might be the single most important question of our time. What does all that AI anchor to? Where does it get its truth? Does it anchor to some corporate database, a credit score? Or does it anchor to the verified, real-world participation of the actual humans it's supposed to be serving? And this table just lays out the shift perfectly. The whole conversation changes. We move from the old world questions, the ones based on permission, like, do you have income or do you qualify? And we move to a new set of questions based on participation. What is your ledger history? What is your participation pattern? Suddenly, your dynamic, proven history becomes way more important than just some static snapshot in time. And this is where we get to the real human stakes of all this, you know? In this world that's becoming more and more automated, it really boils down to what it means to have agency, what it means to have a voice when the machines are the ones making the calls. And it all builds from this one simple premise. Think about it. In a world that's going to be run by AI, if you have no permanent record of your economic life, if you have no ledger, then you have no anchor. Your history is basically erased. You're just floating in the system. And it follows, right? If you have no anchor, then you have no leverage. You have nothing verifiable to negotiate with. Why would the system have any reason at all to optimize for you? Which brings us to the final and most critical link in the chain. If you have no leverage, you have no voice. Period. Without that record, without that power, you just become irrelevant to the very system that you keep alive with everything you do every single day. So, you see, this completely reframes the problem. The real tragedy of the current system isn't just about poverty, it's about invisibility. It's about being reduced to nothing more than a momentary balance in an account, which means when that balance hits zero, you functionally disappear from the system's point of view. And that's why this whole idea, it isn't noise. It's not about a loud revolution. It's architecture. And architecture doesn't shout to get attention. It just stands. It's meant to be a quiet, fundamental shift in the very foundation of our economy. So we end on this final question, and it's a provocative one because it really gets to the heart of what's at stake here. In a world that will be increasingly run by AI, the choice becomes pretty stark. Do you want to be invisible, or do you want to be recorded?